Interview.
Ito ang ating interview serye kung saan hinihimay at tinatalakay ang mga mahalagang paksa na may kinalaman hindi lang sa ating universidad, kundi pati na rin sa bayan. Dahil ang mga scholar ng bayan may pakailam sa sambayanan. Mga kasali patuloy ang iringan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at China patungkol sa West Philippine Sea. Pero ano kaya ang West Philippine Sea noon bago ito tawagin sa kasalukuyang pangalan nito? Para talakayin ito, nakakasama po natin si UP Diliman Asian Center Associate Professor Ariel Lopez. Magandang umaga po, Dr. Lopez. Welcome po sa DZUP.
Magandang umaga rin naman sa iyo, Rex, at sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig.
Thank you po, Doc, sa pag-accept po ng ating invitation at mahalaga po itong usapin na ito para po malinawan po yung ating mga kababayan. Ano nga ba yung West Philippine Sea noon na hindi pa tinatawag na West Philippine Sea? Okay, simulan na po natin, Doc, ang ating talakayan. Doc, ang una pong tanong mula po sa amin, from a historical perspective, kailan nagsimula ang ugnayan ng Pilipinas sa karagatang tinatawag natin ngayon na West Philippine Sea?
Magandang tanong yan, Rex. No? At isa ito sa mga tanong na matagal na namin at personally matagal ko nang tinatanong. No? Ah, sa pananaw, no, pangkasaysayan, ang West Philippine Sea, o ito yung dagat sa kanluran ng Palawan, no, at ng Luzon, ay isang napaka mahalagang lugar, no, para sa mga katutubo ng Pilipinas, no, para sa mga sinaunang Pilipino. At ang narinig natin, lalo na dun sa propaganda ng China, halimbawa, ay meron silang continuous documentation ng kanilang presence, no, for how many thousands of years, because they were ano daw trading with Southeast Asia. Uh, ang the other side of the story that we don't hear from the Chinese is, who are they trading with? No? Sino yung kanilang kasama? Sino yung kanilang, kumbaga, nakikipagkalakalan sila kanino? No? Hindi naman pwedeng pupunta lang sila at kukuha ng kung anumang produkto dadalhin pabalik ng China. Siyempre, ang mga kanilang partners, kumbaga, ay mga Pilipino.
Mhm.
No? So, ibig sabihin, they come because there are people there who can trade with them. Right? And saan ba galing? Ano ba yung karaniwang kinukuha ng mga Chino from the Philippines in the past? No? These are usually forest and marine produce that are exotic, quote unquote, to China.
Mhm.
No? And marine produce, this can be many different things. No? And it means na matagal na may mga tao na kumukuha, no? So there's a connection between the sea and the people,
Mhm.
no? It might be that totoo na the Chinese would come, no, and trade with us, and they bring porcelain, they bring luxury goods, uh but they take marine produce that were gathered by Filipinos themselves. So kung meron may connection sa dagat, no? Tayo 'yun,
Mhm.
no?
Mhm.
Um at ang focus ng pag-aaral ko ngayon ay Southern Philippines, no? Especially Sulu and Mindanao. At doon natin nakikita, no, na talagang konektado sa dagat, no? Ang mga kultura, at lalo na yung sultanato ng Sulu,
Mhm.
no? So even at a very late stage, the Sulu Sultanate had been, they had tributary relationships with the people of, say, Southern Palawan,
Mhm.
no? And in turn, those people in Southern Palawan would have very close connections to the sea. No, the problem is we don't know much about, because there are many reasons, but we don't know much about the history of Sulu Sultanate. We don't have document, and we haven't really, as opposed to, and I know this for a fact, no, na Vietnamese historians, such Chinese historians, have really combed through their historical records, no? To prove and to deepen, kumbaga, yung kanilang claim
Mhm.
towards the South China Sea. But on our side, I think that's one thing that we Filipino historians haven't really done. Na wala pa tayong uh, conscious at kumbaga group effort, no, to strengthen our historical claim. I mean, of course, you have senior associate former Justice Scarpio, but he's just one, no, hindi mo pwedeng lone warrior lang. Um, but yun, when we can talk more about this, marami pang mga you know, and I was talking with Professor Darwin Labsari of the Institute of Islamic Studies in East Tausug. And sabi niya, talagang um, sa kultura nila may um, malaki, no, may consciousness, no, on the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea.
Mhm.
So yeah. Um, and recently, I'm working on a paper with some colleagues, and this is 16th century connections of Muslim Manila, no, Sultanate,
Mhm.
with Brunei and Sulu. So they're really one family, right? And just think about it. How do um members, no, of the Brunei Sultanate and then the Manila Sultanate,
Mhm.
they're related, no, their family. Paano sila punta sa isa't isa, no? How do they travel, no? So most likely through that channel, through the West Philippine Sea, through the South China Sea.
Opo. Doc,
Um,
nabanggit niyo na yung pre-colonial period po, no? Paano naman po ginagamit yung waters na ito noon naman pong kolonyalismong Espanyol at Amerikano po?
yeah. Um, Pagdating ng ano no ng kolonyalismong Espanyol, ah meron silang kumbaga sariling ontology ng kung paano nila ano no epistemology kung paano nila ginagawa ang
Yeah.
kaalaman, no? Of course may sarili silang dahilan kung bakit sila nagmamapa,
Mm.
no? It's not only to understand these territories but also to prove to other European nations na, oh, this is ours.
Mm.
Right? At dyan nakasandig, no, yung claim ni Justice Carpio na ito through the Murillo Velarde map of 1734,
Mhm.
no? Um, Matagal na nandyan yung Panakot, no, yung Scarborough Shoal, na ipakita na dyan yung I forgot, I think Bajo de Paraguas, but it's also, no, written there, no, na shown there na you have features west of Palawan,
Mhm.
and it's really to show that, these areas are under Spanish control,
Right.
no. Maliwanag dun eh. So north of Mindanao, s- coastal Mindanao, that's the extent of Spanish control. So everything, no, logically, everything above northern Mindanao is under Spanish control, but south of that would be still, no, kumbaga frontier, no, of Spanish Philippines. Um, yeah, and as of course through the 19th century and 20th century, mas naging um, precise, no, yung ating mapping, no? And even during the Spanish period, meron kang several expeditions, marine expeditions kung saan minamapa talaga, no, itong mga features na ito for scientific purposes, but also for the purpose of saying to other Europeans na amin ito.
Mhm.
No, that's really uh the objective of having those maps,
Mhm.
no. Hindi naman siya no, hindi naman siya sinishare sa local population sa mga Pilipino, no, not really. um but the mapping of maps, interesting 'yon dahil Kahit hindi siguro nakita ng majority ng Pilipino, no, itong mga Murillo Velarde at that time,
Mm.
uh, how the friars, no, how Murillo Velarde was able to get that detail. He probably and he likely, and I think it's mentioned somewhere, that he relied on local knowledge, no, and any map um is a product of, cumulative knowledge, and in this case hindi masyado sigurong na acknowledge, no, na kasi hindi na travel to all those places that he mapped. So
Mm.
where did he get those details, no? First through his Jesuit networks, no, yung church networks, but also through local knowledge, meaning indigenous Filipino knowledge. And in fact, nga the printing of the map, right, was done through I think at least two Filipinos. So
Mm.
you have two indigenous Filipinos who were involved in the actual making, no,
Mm.
uh, printing of the map. So we were involved. The Filipinos were involved, but uh, kumbaga, on the sides.
Mm. Ayun. Doc, kailan naman po nagsimulang umusbong itong territorial issues po natin sa West Philippine Sea? Ito bilang isang geopolitical issues. Ayan.
Oh, magandang tanong, Rex. I was going back to my notes, and we usually think of the issue as emerging in the 1960s and 1970s,
Mhm.
and this is partly of because of um, first you have already independent nation states in Southeast Asia and Asia, and this is really a uh, a tumultuous, no, a turbulent period,
Mhm.
because Southeast Asian states boundaries were not yet really, you know, uh, kumbaga fixed,
Yeah.
no? So if you remember, you have conflict between Indonesia and Malaysia, no? You have a conflict between Malaysia and the Philippines regarding Sabah. So, and this is also the time na may these countries realize the importance of this region as a source for oil. No?
Mhm.
So expeditions for oil, 1960s, they found that uh, noon pa lang, no, na may gamit, no. But also realized na even before, no, 1930s pa lang. Imagine 1930s, Philippines was still under American rule. Filipino lawmakers already realized the geopolitical importance um, of the West Philippine Sea, of the South China Sea, especially of the features, no, yung Spratlys,
Mhm.
um, because it's too near the Philippines, no, and at that time there's a specter of Japanese invasion.
Ay.
No? So you see the parallelism today, no?
Ah,
So you have a threat of the Chinese, and we see, because it's too near, ang lapit sa Palawan.
right.
And in the 1930s, there's a specter, no? May takot na um, may multo ng mga Hapones na pwede pumunta sa Pilipinas. And so they asserted na this is part of Philippine territory and we should assert, no, our sovereignty over those islands. And this was continued in the 1940s, and also in the 1950s. Sa
Okay.
1950s, so 1930s pa lang meron na, no?
Mm.
Through our Philippine Commonwealth.
Right.
But 1950s, dito talaga medyo naging prominent through Tomas Cloma, who probably had a lot of, kumbaga, wind on his back from the Philippine government, right? Um, uh, but it's really 1960s and 1970s when, so kumbaga 30s, 40s, 50s, it's really the strategic, no, yung geopolitical importance. But 1960s, 1970s, dito na na-realize na, may oil din pala. So
Right.
um, mas lalong naging crucial, no, yung region.
Mhm. Dok, punta po. Okay. Dok, punta po tayo dun sa 1970s po, no? Ano po ba yung kahalagahan ng claim ng Pilipinas? Dito nga sa Kalayaan Island Group po noong 1970s, Dok.
Oo. Nung 1970s, dito na formally na naging part, no, ng Island Group ang part ng Spratlys. So hindi naman lahat ng kumbaga ng Spratlys inaangkin ng Spratlys Islands inaangkin natin, no. Ito lang yung mga features na talagang malapit sa Palawan.
Right.
So we made sure, no, through a presidential decree na isa itong municipality, no, na isa itong part ng Palawan at meron siyang functioning local government,
Mhm.
no? Ah, at dito rin nagsimula, no, yung ah, unti-unti nating inoccupy, no, through our Philippine Armed Forces
Yeah.
yung mga key features, no, nung ah, West Philippine Sea, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yun. Dok, ito mahalagang tanong po. Paano po ba nagbago ang mga pulisiya ng bansa hinggil sa West Philippine Sea sa ilalim po ng iba't ibang administrasyon, Dok?
Mm. Ah, Magandang tanong, Rex. I think ito ay kaugnay ng kung ano ang nangyayari sa international arena,
Okay.
no? Ah, Kumbaga, nagre-respond yung ating administration sa demands, no, um ah, ng international affairs, no, international situation.
Right.
So for instance, 1995, no, you have panahon ni uh, President Ramos. There was a big controversy dahil inoccupy ng China, no, yung Mischief Reef,
Right.
no, na dati wala naman, hindi man occupied, but at the time nagtayo lang sila ng isang structure, maliit na structure. And it was also, of course, already um, controversial and um, it was kumaga, trespassing of Philippine territory dahil it's within our UNCLOS mandated exclusive economic zone.
Mhm.
Uh, but, well, it's related, I think, to many factors. Perhaps also yung UNCLOS na decision na dapat na in 1994 yun no,
Mm.
na um, kung ano yung features, no, na within the 200 nautical miles, no. But also it's related with at that time I think what the Chinese saw as Philippine weakness. Remember, um, early 1990s, uh, we did not renew, no, the American bases.
Right.
So I think they saw an opportunity, no, na we had a weekend, uh, you know, uh, kumbaga weekend um, outlook, no, weekend defense, no, of our territory. So that's one thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think the next big event relating to the region would be the um, passage, no, of I think 2009, no, that uh, what do you call that? I think archipelagic baselines law, no,
Mhm.
actually it's a, if I remember correctly, um, it's a national law that made sure um that our national laws are in alignment with UNCLOS,
Right.
no? Um, Mahalaga yung UNCLOS dahil it sets out no yung extent no ng ating claim, but especially with China. No, recently I had Chinese colleague speaking in my class, and specifically on South China Sea.
Mhm.
And he really couldn't answer because, like the Philippines, China is part of, is a signatory to UNCLOS.
Right.
And therefore they're bound to, to the provisions. Um, ang tanong ng estudyante, kung part ka na ng UNCLOS, so it means that the nine dash line, no, on which the Chinese claim to, to the South China Sea hinges, is invalid, no? Um,
Mhm.
Kasi ang layo naman ng nine dash line doon sa 200 nautical miles ng UNCLOS.
Mhm.
Um, but the Chinese speaker wasn't able to answer it. Sabi niya, hindi, okay, part kami ng UNCLOS 1994, but yung nine dash line is a historical claim,
Right.
no? So even before. So and that's something that, how can you contest something na wala namang international baga legal um, traction,
Mhm.
no? So yun. Um, and doon I think papasok yung ating ano no uh, um, panalo no 2016 sa
Yeah.
arbitral tribunal,
Mhm.
no, na we invalidate no itong Chinese claim, no, sweeping Chinese claim, no, through legal means.
Mhm.
Um, Yun.
Okay. Doc, kailan naman po natin sinimulan at bakit nating sinimulang gamitin ng bansa ang terminong West Philippine Sea?
Mm. Ah, ito ay sa aking pagkatanda sa panahon ni Pinoy, no?
Mm.
Bahagi ito no nagsimula yung 2009 nga meron tayong archipelagic baselines law
Mhm.
na i-assert no yung ating um, right doon sa part no yung West Philippine Sea. Actually hindi siya buong South China Sea, no, ito yung dagat na malapit sa ah, Pilipinas. So bahagi siya nung South China Sea.
Mhm.
At mahalaga ito dahil yung mga karatig bansa natin, ganun din naman ang tawag,
Right.
no? So for Vietnam, it's their East Sea,
Mm.
no? Vietnamese East Sea, no? Um, well, sa atin, this should be our West Philippine Sea.
Mhm.
Right? So it's part of claim making, no? But also I think nation boundary making,
Ayun.
right?
Mm. Yun. Doc, ano
At
naman po ang papel ng historical maps? Gaya nga po ng Murillo Velarde map, Rutang Pandagat, tala ng mga pamayan ng mangingisda, at ng UP po sa pang-unawa sa sigalot sa mga katubigang ito.
mm, mahalaga yung papel natin dahil ah, ang daming mga misinformation, disinformation na nagaganap sa internet, at katulad ng mahalaga yung role ng DZUP no to amplify yung kung anumang academic uh, uh, findings no na nakabase sa science at sa
Mhm.
totoong pananaliksik, no, at para ito ay i-disseminate no may pakalat sa mas maraming Pilipino dahil ang kalaban natin talaga hindi lang individuals but it's a well-oiled machine of
Right.
propaganda coming from we don't know. No? And unfortunately, perhaps even our own fellow Filipinos have been instrumentalized and also have been victimized by false propaganda.
Mhm.
No? Um, the other country always accuse us of uh, having a you know um, kumbaga propagandizing and controlling mass media, the narrative that we are you know sensationalizing. But
Mhm.
if you look at what they're doing, it's even more actually.
Right.
Nakakalungkot na merong mga Pilipino na ah, yung linyahan, yung argumento ay katulad nung sa kabila. No? It means na una, hindi siguro nagbasa at ikalawa, ah ah, biktima ng fake news. Right?
Mhm.
Um, Kaya maganda yung sinusulong na batas, no? Hindi ko alam kung batas ba 'yon o executive order na isama yung pagtuturo ng West Philippine Sea sa ating mga kabataan.
Yeah.
No? Um, Kaugnay niyan, no, maganda na siguro ma-update natin at ma-disseminate din yung primer on West Philippine Sea na isinulat ni Professor J. Batong Bakal at ni Professor na dating dekano ng Asian Center, Professor Eileen Baviera. Um, Yumaong Professor Eileen Baviera.
Mhm.
Right? And that's available online through the Asian Center website. So nandun yung, kumbaga, basic information. Although dated na to, kailangan nga nating i-update, no? Dated na to, but it still contains very important and basic facts, no, na pwedeng isama natin. Isa dun sa mga plano na pala ng Asian Center ay mag-conduct, no, ng training bilang part ng extension program. At isa dun sa mga lumalabas, so, nagkaroon kami ng training needs assessment. Isa dun sa mga lumalabas na gusto ng mga teacher ay exactly, no, itong West Philippine Sea. So they want to teach it, but they don't have the material and they
Mhm.
don't know how to start teaching. At kumbaga, ang mahalaga yung papel ng UP to provide content, no, doon sa ating mga basic ed teachers. At hopefully, ang Asian Center ay magkakaroon ng pilot extension program on uh, uh, part yun yung pagtuturo ng West Philippine Sea sometime this year. No?
Mhm.
Online ito, so
Wow.
anyone, um, so every weekend, no? So any teacher from any part of the Philippines can join as long as meron sila internet.
Mhm. Mhm.
So sana masimulan natin ito, no?
Mhm.
Yun.
Opo, mahalagang development nito, Doc, sa pangunawa po sa sigalot po sa West Philippine Sea. Ito bilang panghuli, Doc, if you were to summarize the WPS issue in a historical timeline, ano-anong mahalagang pangyayari kaya ang dapat tandaan ng mga Pilipino?
Anong mga mahalagang pangyayari? Siguro hindi mahalagang pangyayari pero yung general idea na we shouldn't buy the narrative from
Mhm.
the other country na matagal na sila dyan, na they're trading, for thousands of years and going to Southeast Asia. Because they miss out the fact na they are trading with who? They're
Mhm.
trading with Filipinos. They're trading with ancient Southeast Asians.
Mhm.
And they're trading what? They're trading marine produce, right? They're trading at tree palm, they're trading pearls,
Mhm.
they're trading, other stuff from the sea, and they're not the ones who gather it. It's the Southeast Asian, it's the Filipinos who gather. So kung sino man ang may kaugnayan sa dagat, no, yung tayo yon, no, that's our livelihood. And hanggang ngayon, it's our livelihood. No, if you listen to uh yung mga mangingisda natin sa Baho de Masinloc, that's their complaint, no?
Mhm.
They lost um contact with with the place where they gather fish, no? At lalo na din kapag halimbawa makuha nila yung uh, uh, rest of the spratlys, no? We lose our access to livelihood of our people. So I think that's the main thing that our countrymen should think about, no?
Mhm.
And our scientists can explain kung bakit mahalaga as not only as direct fishing ground but also as a place for, say, fish, no, breeding ground for other fishes, no,
Right.
going to different parts of the Philippines, no, itong part na to. So yun, yung kinabubuhay natin, no? And imagine they might not end, no, dun sa Baho de Masinloc at dun sa Mischief Reef. They might even extend, no, to areas that we know already have we now have sources for natural gas, Malampaya, no? And imagine, it's very important for us kasi I think 40% of Luzon power electricity comes from Malampaya,
Mhm.
no? Paano na lang kung the rest of that is taken away from us, no? So
Mhm.
siya, hindi lang siya kabuhayan, but it's the future of the Filipinos and of the Philippines.
Ayun. With that, maraming salamat sa iyong oras at pagbabahagi. UP Diliman Asian Center Associate Professor Dr. Arian Lopez. Salamat po, Doc, sa oras.
Salamat.
DZUP Balita. Patuloy ang balitaan sa DZUP.org.